All right, let's do this anime tattoo. I want to kind of do a little bit of a voiceover and explain my technique a little bit. And then once I'm done doing that, it's just going to kind of play with a little bit of music behind it so you can watch just kind of what I'm doing. So the number one thing when I'm doing something like this is getting a solid stencil. You don't want it to be blurry. You want it to be pin sharp unless you are just an amazing artist. I definitely think that it's really important for me anyway to get a really clear stencil just so I know what I'm doing, especially with something like this to where I'm not completely familiar with the character or what I'm doing. I'm going to be switching back and forth between this point of view angle, and then also I have a tripod set up. So some of the parts with this point of view, you're not totally able to see what's going on, but it'll swap back and forth, so just be patient. I'm doing these lines with a 7 round shader, and that is the Vlad Blad Fine Liner Pro. I like that a lot for lines up to maybe like a 7 or a 9 liner. I usually use round shaders just so in that way there's less damage to the skin, and I just feel like the lines turn out nicer. Also, I'm using a coil, and that just kind of helps me move faster when I'm doing any type of lining. And then the other machine that I'm going to be using, the pen style machine that you'll see in a minute, that is the Ava EP7 Plus. I've been riding that thing till the wheels fall off basically, and it recently has just started to rattle around a little bit. So I think I'm going to have to get it repaired or replaced. But it has been like 2.5 years, I think, since I've been using it. So that's a pretty decent run for a rotary. But either way, starting off, I'm going in here and I'm doing these little ink splat kind of things to frame out these two characters, and I really like the way that this makes everything bold, and it just really makes the image pop and frames it out. And I'm just kind of going back and forth and getting really solid lines, and you'll see later when the video quality gets a little bit better, because this is just kind of like a GoPro. I'm leaving little spaces so it more so looks like a quick brush stroke, and I just have really been enjoying that style. Now for the shading, I'm using a tight 3. This entire tattoo was done with a 7 round shader for the lines, and then this is the tight 3 for the shading. Now the shading, I have my machine slowed down quite a bit, so in that way I'm able to get those nice spaced out textured dots, and it's kind of like a build-up process to where I'll do the whole area that wants to be, or that needs to be shaded with a lighter tone just to be able to give that base coat, I guess you would say. And then I go back with my darker tones and I build up the contrast, like you can start it to see, like you can start seeing it happen right here. And you'll see that throughout this whole video to where I'll kind of go in with my mid-tone or my lightest tone and do the whole area just so it's mapped out. And then I'll come back and I'll build up the contrast. Another thing that you'll notice is until the entire stencil is in, I'm using a dry paper towel. And I know a lot of people will say that that's brutal on the client. I don't care. I'm here to give the most quality tattoo that I possibly can. And in order to do that, using a dry paper towel is definitely something that's necessary with something like this, to where it's more detailed and I don't want to wipe away the stencil at all. So, I mean, obviously you don't want to destroy your client's skin, but at the same time, you kind of have to do that with the paper towel so you don't mess with your stencil at all. So yeah, I think that's kind of all I have to say. I'm trying to think of anything else, but it's kind of escaping my mind. Maybe I'll add some in a little bit, but I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. And maybe you can pick up on some technique. And if you have any tips for me, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I'm always willing to learn as well. I'm not just here to make videos and tell people what to do. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. Talk to you guys later.